Okay, and with that, welcome to today's video. Welcome to a very rainy, foggy, hazy and wet Germany. We are in the Black Forest right now, just, I don't know, let's say a kilometer above sea level. So we're actually up quite high. And we should have just the most glorious view in this direction. But as you can see, we don't, and that is because we are completely enveloped in clouds. And it has been raining or rainy for the past, I don't know how many days now, it's been months actually. And I've just been fed up with sitting at home doing nothing. So I just wanted to go for a short little hike, enjoy some nature, even though I can see much of it. And maybe, if I'm lucky, also take like 1 or 2 nice photos. And while I'm out here in these harsh, well, these aren't actually harsh conditions, but like mildly inconvenient conditions, I want to talk about what is, in my opinion, one of the most important features that a camera can have. And certainly one of the features that I'm always looking for when I'm thinking about buying a camera. More on that later though. Okay, so I just got done filming that intro that you probably just saw. And when I was done, I realized how beautiful even this scene is. I mean, you can obviously not see the view that is here because of the weather, but I don't know, there's just something to it. I very much like this tree, which for some reason still looks like it's fall, even though it's the start of April. And I mean, just look at that footpath leading up there. I don't know, there is just something to it, to this misty, hazy, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Does this come across on the camera? Is it just as glorious on the images that I just shot? Or do you not understand what I'm on about at all? So also get a quick snap of this tree. I think that looks rather nice. Let's get it centered as well. Oh God, I really do hope that you can see things, and not just the Sony camera that is dangling off to the side. So here you can see, hopefully anyway, the path that is leading along, and I do want to get the path in the frame, and also that slightly orangey looking tree thing that is growing out of the rocks over there. But I do not want to take away from the path being the subject here. So let's try to get decently interesting frame, and I would do that by putting the path slightly more in the middle and the tree off to the side. Let's go. What do you think? Does that work? Okay, looks like we're now changing pace from a fairly well maintained gravel road to something, you know, slightly more rocky. It's also going like up here. Decent ascent. Okay, so I just adjusted the action cam so that it doesn't look up as much, which I now regret, because up there you can hopefully see these like tree stands, and I think this looks quite interesting. Well, let's take another one in portrait orientation just for good measure, and of course for Instagram. Tons and tons and tons of dead space, but I kind of kind of do like it. Prefer the landscape one though. Just, I mean, look at that. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? Well, that's morbid aesthetics. The water coming out of that pipeline looking thing. Well, never mind. Okay, so as you can see, I'm back at home right now. It's about 3 days later, and I've just taken a look at the clips that I shot on that day, and I thought it would probably be best to explain you what's going on, because I actually messed up and didn't film after that scene for a while. Let's backtrack a bit though. Earlier I was talking about a feature that I'm always looking for when I'm trying to decide on buying a new camera, and that feature is weather resistance. So dust and moisture resistance, preferably even like rain or water resistance. This Leica Q2, for example, does have an IP52 rating, which obviously doesn't mean that you can submerge it in water, but at the very least it does hold up to things like rain and overall, let's say, bad conditions, no problem whatsoever. And that is something that I value a lot, because these cameras are expensive. And when I'm out and about and I want to take photos in these kinds of conditions, I want to know that my camera will be safe and that I'm not putting such a huge investment on the line. That would just take away from the fun. I would be concerned about that all of the time, and that would probably lead to my camera spending more time in my backpack and less time on my person where I can actually use it to take photos. So the Leica Q2 is great for that. However, I am a bit of an idiot, because while I did have my Leica out with me and on my person for the majority of the time on that hike, and it didn't have any issues with the water, it didn't stop working or anything of the sort, but obviously that water still affects your images, because I did get a ton of drops on the front of my lens, and I didn't actually have anything with me to wipe that water away. So that meant that I was kind of just using my t-shirt, and because I was wearing a synthetic t-shirt, it just sort of smeared the water and it didn't really remove it. And that led to me getting very, let's say, soft at best images for the majority of this hike. That's obviously not a fault of the camera though. It's just me being stupid. I should have taken like a handkerchief with me. I did actually have a lens cloth, but that didn't work in removing the water either. So yeah, you live, you learn, I guess. But weather resistance overall is a feature that I always want to have in a camera, because it just means that you can use your camera so much more and you do have to worry about it less, and that matters just a ton for me. Anyway, I made my way to a lake which is quite a popular like tourist or hiking, going for a walk location, and even on that day there were quite a few people there. And that gave me the opportunity to get a couple of cool shots of these people in like bright clothing and with their umbrellas out, which I think at least some of them came out quite nice, even though, again, they turned out to be quite soft as well. And yeah, I thought, why not just show you this clip without any commentary or music, so you get kind of an ASMR experience, if you like, with just me heavy breathing and my rain jacket crackling. So I hope you enjoy that.
Und dann 2017 kann ansehen. Das war natürlich auch nicht.
I did take a couple more photos on this lake, but after that I basically packed away my cameras because I arrived at the steepest part of that hike, and that is also why I might sound kind of out of breath in the next clip. Okay, so as you can see, I am by now completely drenched and I have no idea why I even bothered to shower earlier today, or why I didn't bring a hat. But anyway, that's beside the point. What I actually wanted to show you is that footpath that you can see up ahead, and I don't think that really comes across on camera right now, but that looks, I don't know, mystic, just mystic. Doesn't that look just absolutely gorgeous? I'm so excited to see how this looks on a larger screen. Let's switch to f2.8 to get some more stuff in focus. And as you can see over there in the distance, there's a couple hiking along. Yeah, that looks great. And yeah, I went on, took a couple of more snaps, among them this photo of, well, it's basically a fork in the road. And I do like that image a lot because, I don't know, I just like the way signs in the middle, the fork obviously, and that there are still some hikers on the left side of the image. But anyway, after that I arrived at the top of the mountain that I was hiking on. Usually, I guess you will probably get just the most amazing view from there because it's a high moor, which means that there are basically no trees blocking your way. I've never actually been there in like good conditions. It was the first time that I ever went on that hike, so no idea if I'm honest, but you would probably get the most glorious view from up there. Anyway, I certainly didn't, but at the very least I did get this nice photo of a dude with his bicycle standing in front of a tower, and I got another kind of nice shot of him after he passed me a couple hundred meters down the road. But after that came the best part of that hike, because there was this timber footpath that was leading over the high moor, and there was just nobody there. There was barely any wind, and it was basically just complete silence, to the point where even the quiet shutter sound of my Leica Q2 became kind of too much for me. So after I took a couple of photos, I put away my camera and I just stood there for a good couple of minutes and just enjoyed the silence. I obviously didn't film any of that because I just wanted to be present in that moment for once. But yeah, that was just absolutely glorious. And while taking photos and all that is nice and dandy, that is why you actually want to go out there. Anyway, from there on out, it was basically just a very rocky and steep path back down to the parking lot. I didn't film a lot, and I also didn't take a lot of photographs. I was kind of just done after that. But in conclusion, I think that I learned 3 things on that day. One is something that I already knew, that is that weather resistance in a camera is very important to me, and I just enjoyed being able to have my cameras out with me all of the time without having to think about that. The second thing that I learned is that even if your camera is weather resistant, that doesn't mean that the weather doesn't affect your images. And going forward, I will certainly bring a handkerchief or something of the sort with me if I go out in these kinds of conditions next time. And the third thing that I learned once more, and that is something that I have to relearn every time I go out, is that while taking photos is nice, and that might be the reason for me to actually go out, being out in nature in the moment is actually what it's all about. And if you get a couple of cool images out of it as well, that is nice. But if you don't, it doesn't matter at all. If cameras and photography is kind of the motivator for you to go out, that's fine. That's how it works for me. But whatever it takes, whatever floats your boat, I highly recommend going out into nature, going on a hike, and yeah, just enjoy it. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked some of the images. If you want to see more, make sure to go over and visit my Instagram page as well. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.